Welcome guys, welcome everybody. I'm Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to our next session of the Spiritual Essence of Man, the Chakras and the Inverted Tree of Life by Master Choa Kok Sui. We are on Malkuth, which is chapter 10, page 161. Okay, so, no, actually not 161. We were on page 159, Psychological Functions of Malkuth. So, welcome. Let's do a quick invocation to start, shall we? To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, Divine Father, thank you for your divine and precious blessings. To my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to the Divine Lord Christ, to all the saints, to the hierarchy of the Divine Holy Angels and Archangels and all the great ones, we humbly thank you for your divine and precious blessings, guidance, help, protection, for the priceless blessings, the priceless knowledge, the understanding, harmony, and peace, for the wisdom, the learning, thank you. With deep gratitude, respect, and love, so be it, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, welcome. Thank you for coming. Oh, I need a mic. So if you didn't hear me, so just do your own vocation. That's okay. Okay. Anyway, so so we are on Malkuth, which is the basic chakra, right? And let me see here. So it's the basic chakra, Malkuth, as you can see over here. This is the chakra when it's moving at the top and at the bottom and in slow motion. You can see also where it is right here at the coccyx area. So if we go to page 159, we will continue from last week. If you would like to start the chapter, please go to our last video, and then you can see it there. Okay, so psychological functions. Page 159. It says, the basic chakra, Malkuth, controls and energizes the muscular and skeletal system, right? It also energizes and strengthens the whole physical body. We spoke about this last week. It also says the basic chakra, Malkuth, controls and energizes the bone marrow. Therefore, it affects the production of the blood and quality of the blood produced. We did cover this last week, right? Okay, cool. So we did start. Why did we? 161 because we start in second pair of polar opposites. Okay, so my bad. Yes. Oh, he's scanning. Okay. So my bad. Thank you. It was 161. But it was in the middle. Okay, cool. So second pair of polar opposites, spirit and matter. Okay. The second pair of polar opposites is Keter and Malkuth, spirit and matter. The Crown Chakra, Keter, is the entry point of divine energy. The descent of divine energy is called the descent of the Holy Spirit. In the Chinese spiritual tradition, this is called the downpouring of Tian Qi. Tian means God, while Qi means energy. Bless you. So, okay. So the author says here, the Crown Chakra, right? The first pole, the polar opposites, right? We spoke about the two types of polar opposites, right? I don't know if we spoke about it in the channel. I don't remember, or if we spoke about it at the end. But basically, the two pairs of polar opposites. The first pair of polar opposites is Keter, right? The Crown Chakra, and the Sex Chakra, right? And it is not. It doesn't say it specifically, like you have it here. That is a subtitle, right? That you see, the second pair of the first pair of polar opposites. but it's there in the chapter. And then the second pair of polar opposites, the two poles, is Keter and the basic chakra, Malkuth. So, let me see. In the chapter of Yesod, on page 138, right, you see transmutation of sex energy into love and spiritual energy in the chapter for Yesod, for the sex chakra. You see the subtitle, Transmutation of Sex Energy into Love and Spiritual Energy, right? This is, which corresponds to the polar opposites. This is where it mentions the first pair of polar opposites, because you're transmuting the sex energy into love and spiritual energy, basically, right? Bringing down the sex energy up, right? The divine energy comes down from Keter, entry point of spiritual energy into the body, down into Yesod, right? And into the lower chakras. It awakens the Kundalini and also the spiritual, the sexual energy, and then is brought back up. And this bringing it back up, when we do the transmutation of sex energy, right? Bringing it back up, you're transmuting it into love, right? The heart, and into spiritual energy, right at the crown. So it says here, besides the three pairs of complementary opposites, right? We saw the three pairs throughout the book. Besides the three pairs of complementary opposites, namely these right here, 1, 2, and 3. There are two pairs of polar opposites. The first pair of polar opposites is Keter and Yesod, spirituality and sexuality. And then that's where we have the first mention of the first pair of polar opposites. When we go back to page 161, it says the second pair of polar opposites, spirit and matter. Excuse me. And so it says, the second pair of polar opposites is Keter and Malkuth, spirit and matter. Age-old question, right? The Crown Chakra, Keter, is the entry point of divine energy. Entry point of divine energy into the body. The descent of divine energy is called the descent of the Holy Spirit in the Christian tradition. Yes? And in the Chinese spiritual tradition, this is called the downpouring of Tian Qi. Tian means God, heaven, right? God. While Qi means energy. It also means heaven. So, but energy from heaven, and where is God? In heaven, right? So, also it means God. The basic chakra, Malkuth, corresponds to matter, located near the base of the spine in the Kundalini energy, or Shakti. So we spoke about Shakti, Shayna, we spoke about Shakti, yes? So located near the base of the spine. Located near the base of the spine. What is near? Is it at the base of the spine? It's near, right? The base of the spine. Is the energy, right? Located near the base of the spine is the Kundalini energy, or Shakti. What does Shakti mean? Shakti means? No, feminine, it's okay. Yes, Shakti is feminine energy, but the actual meaning of the word Shakti is power. Is what? Power. A specific kind of power, right? So Shakti is power. The divine energy coming down, right, is seen, like you said, is seen in the Hindu tradition as female energy, right? Is the Shakti. And so what awakens Shakti is Shiva, right? So, or the divine energy coming down is seen as male energy, right, in the Hindu tradition. And so this is Shiva, and that's why you have the Shiva Shakti. Shiva Shakti is the union between Shiva and Shakti, the awakening of Shakti, and then once Shakti is awakened, right? The Kundalini energy is awakened. It goes all the way up, and then at the crown, right? They meet, and Shiva Shakti, they become one. So the transmutation, right? So in the it's interesting now. Is the Are the energies actually male or female? And I want to just say this because there's a lot of stuff out there, and we always talk about female energies, male energies, and whatnot. Is the actual divine energy coming down male? Does it have a sex? No, right? It doesn't have a penis, and the other one, right? Nothing like this. This is just and this is because you have to ask, right? Is male energy, female energy? Well, are they? No. So okay, joke, right? But the thing is that this is what we come to believe, and so is the moon female energy? Is the sun male energy? We are constantly bombarded in the spiritual path by these things: male energy, female energy, male energy, female energy, and what gives male energy? What gives female energy? In reality, if right now, whatever physical body that we have a male physical body or a female physical body. Those are the energies from the male physical body and the female physical body. But energy does not have a sex. Even the moon, in certain cultures, is male, and in certain cultures is seen as female. The only reason that is connected to the, in at least in our cultures, with the female aspect, it has to do with because of the menstruation, right, and the cycles of the moon, because it's akin to the menstrual cycle. But it's a symbol. You understand? It's not that that is an actual female or the sun is an actual male. It's because of how we see things. Because this is symbolism on how we see the world. So necessarily, and also how we can understand things. You understand? Just because of how we are wired, and it's just basically so that we can learn things with concepts that are akin, that are easy for us to understand. But whether it's male or female, where we have a gathering of a fraternity of males that are gathering by themselves, or a sisterhood, right, of women that are gathering by themselves, it really, and then we're talking about different things that are providing male energy or providing female energy. In reality, the energy comes from us, because true, if you want true specific male energy, will come from a male body. True female energy will come from female body. But in reality, this comes to yin and yang, or things of duality, right? And one, so you're giving a certain quality to certain types of energy so that we can understand them better. But what are you going to say? So, well, yang energy is active, right? It's dynamic. You understand? It's strong. And yin energy is passive, right? Is soothing, is soft. So does that mean that the women cannot be dynamic and strong? Does that mean that men cannot be soft and tender or loving, or you're gentle? It's not. And these are stereotypes at the end of the day, and stereotypes from historical stereotypes, where male and women had different roles, and also in different cultures they have even different roles than they have today. But at the end of the day, the soul is sexless. You understand this? So the soul can reincarnate on it's like I tell my kids, you have this is the vehicle that we have in this lifetime. But the vehicle can change, just like you have a Honda or a Ford, or a four-door or a two-door car. It doesn't matter. It's just you have different colors, different makes, different models, different whatever. You have a truck or a tractor, or a motorcycle or this. It really, you have different vehicles that you drive, a boat, an airplane, and they all look different and for different things. The same for the physical body. So you have different physical bodies, and you can have whatever. And the physical bodies can be androgynous, can be or hermaphrodites, or not, or it could be just one, either male or female. But it doesn't matter. What matters is the soul. Now, are there differences in the physical bodies for experiences and whatever? Yes. But that doesn't mean that the differences are greater than the things that makes us, human, and it makes us the same, which is that we're all souls, being the main one. And we just have different bodies, and we have different experiences because of it, obviously, right? The male body and the female body have different brains and other things, but it's just a different experience. If you're in a motorcycle or you're in a car, it might be, but the experience is mostly the same. You understand? We're all here together, and we're all here learning. And we can both be strong, we can both be gentle, we can both have, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we all are trying to be virtuous. And virtue has no sex. Both men and women can both be virtuous. Men and women can both be loving. And and at the end of the day, we can both become one with our higher soul. Having, being more balanced in our, male-female energy, if you want to call it that.
We all have both qualities as well.
Correct.
Feminine and masculine.
Like what?
To call it.
Like we both have.
You just mentioned, like power, gentleness.
Yeah, correct. We both have both qualities. You understand? And that's really what it is. So when we talk about, and that's what I'm saying, that these are symbols for us to understand better, the male energy, the female energy. These are stories, and so that we can, there are certain attributes we have placed over the years, and so that has created a symbolism that we give to these things. You understand? I'm sure that in an Amazonian tribe, right, where the women, which is a matriarchal society, and the women were the warriors and all that stuff, and the men stayed at home, right, and tended to the fields and whatnot. I'm sure it was completely different, and the yin and yang there. If you brought yin and yang and duality, it was, oh yeah, women are strong, you understand, and men are soft and gentle. You understand? So it was a completely different society. It was a completely different understanding. If you believe that the Amazonians existed, right, the Amazons. So, but regardless of the case, they're matriarchal societies, they're patriarchal societies. So, so yes, I just wanted to make that point, because we use this as a symbol, and it's okay, right? As long as we understand what we are doing, that we are using this as a symbol, but I don't think we should take it personal. We should just see it as a symbol and see it for what it is, understand it for what it is. Are we at this point of the game going to change the name of it? I don't know. I don't think it's, the point is where we're going, right? And whatever works at this point. But as long as we understand and we don't take it personal, and we don't attach to these energies because we have a specific body, you understand? So, and we are aware that these are just symbolism, we can move forward. So yes, Shakti, they call it female energy, right, in the Hindu tradition. Also in the Hebrew tradition, right, they have the Shekinah. It's also in the Bible, the Shekinah. And the Shekinah is the female aspect of God. And that's really what that is. And the female aspect of God, and everything symbolically that entails, right? So it's the same as Shakti, right? The Shekinah. So, located near, it's not like this in the book, but it says near. The base of the spine is the Kundalini energy or Shakti. The Kundalini energy is the energy that is responsible for the manifestation of matter. Without it, the physical body as well as the physical universe cannot exist. Are these two sentences important? Right? This is amazing. Although the Kundalini energy is concentrated near the base of the spine, its presence is everywhere. For example, water is found in the lake, but it is pervasive since it exists in the air as water vapor. Okay? Kundalini is everywhere. And it says here that the Kundalini energy is the energy that is responsible for the manifestation of matter. And without it, the physical body as well as the physical universe cannot exist. So, okay. You want me to share more about this? Okay, so it says the Kundalini energy is the energy that is responsible for the manifestation of what? Matter. Now, what is matter? Let me put the book away for a second, since we're not going to use it for a bit. So what is matter? Matter, right, is the manifestation, right, or the physical manifestation is what gives form, right? Matter is what is part of form, is what gives form. It's a building block. Yeah, correct. It's a binding of the energies of that realm. So the author, my teacher, Master Choa Kok Sui, does not use the word physical matter. It says physical world, and it says it's responsible for this physical body. And the second, there's two sentences, right? The first sentence, it says it's responsible for the manifestation of matter. And yes, it's talking about physical matter. But in reality, he didn't say physical matter. He says matter. The second sentence, it says, without it, right, the physical body or the physical universe could not exist. Yes, this is true. At the same time, without it, the other worlds could not exist. Because the truth is that Kundalini is pervasive in all the worlds. Let's just say in the different worlds. So in the different planes, in the different dimensions, Kundalini exists at a different vibration. Kundalini has many different levels, just like there are many different worlds. And so Kundalini is responsible for the manifestation of matter in all these worlds. Because there's not only physical matter is not only physical. You have physical matter, you have astral matter, you have mental matter, you have all these different types of matter. Matter is not strictly physical. So when you dream, you are in the astral world. When you're in the astral world and you see all the things that are there that you create, or whoever, right, that are created, and you are there and you see a tree and you see the grass and you see all this stuff and you feel you're there, all this is made with astral matter. And you can touch things with your astral body and they feel how you think that they feel. You feel that you're there. Sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference between that and the physical world. Where are those references from? From your physical experience. And then maybe you have experienced some things that are akin only to the astral world. There are more subtle experiences. Some you might not remember. But in reality, all that matter is astral matter. Made possible by the Kundalini energy. So the Kundalini energy is the Shakti, right? Which means power. But it's like saying potential power. Yes? What ignites that power? Spiritual energy. And what is spiritual energy? Energy with consciousness. Ignites that power. Boom. It makes it, right? It makes it dynamic. It makes it do stuff. It breaks up the matter into different forms, different things, space, all this, it gives it life, dynamism. Thank you. I come here to learn also. So
what is the source of Kundalini energy?
What is the source of everything?
Yeah.
So, good question. What is the source of Kundalini energy? So, what is called the causeless cause? Because there's cause and effect, right? Everything is cause and effect. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Or at least every action has a reaction. At least we can agree on that, right? Whether it is equal and opposite in the physical world, yes, right? But at least we know that every action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect, right? To make it simple. So, but there is one cause that is called the causeless cause. Because every cause is an effect of something else. Yes? So every cause, anything that caused something to happen is really the effect of another cause. And that cause, the effect of another cause. So you going to work is the effect, right, of you getting up in the morning. And the cause of you going to work is you got up in the morning and you got dressed, all that stuff, got ready, and then you went to work. But why are you at work? Well, because you got up in the morning. Why did you get up in the morning? Were you sleeping? Yes, because you were sleeping before. And then, well, why? Because you were tired and that was the cause of you going to work in the previous day and all that. So all these things happen, right? So there is every effect. And what do you do at work? All these things. And what was the cause? What was the effect of you being at work that you were the cause of all these other things? And it's like a snowball effect, right? So every little thing that happens is both, right? It's an effect, and then that will cause something else. And it's an endless cause and effect cycle. But the thing that there is one thing that is called the causeless cause, and that is the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, which is the cause of all things. So where does Kundalini energy come from? From the causeless cause. So, but I was going to touch on that actually. So so Kundalini is also called Shakti, right? And we also said Shakti is a feminine aspect of God. At the same time, I also said that in the Kabbalist tradition, the Hebrew tradition is called the Shekinah, right? Shekinah. And I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but you know, we do our best. As soon as you get it, right? So, and then you pronounce it right. But the Shekinah is a female aspect of God, right? If God is seen as male, that is its female aspect. And again, it goes back to the symbolism that we have attached to it. So you have the kinetic energy and the potential energy, the dynamic energy, and the energy that is static, ready to be awoken, right? Then made dynamic. And so this is why it's like the Shiva Shakti principle. It's like spirituality and matter. Actually, Shina, you please bring me in? It's a small book. I think the existence of God is self-evident. It's right there, by Master Choa as well. I think it should be in the third or second, at the end of the second, and on one of the sides. There you go. Thank you. So this is the existence of God is self-evident. It's a very powerful book. It's very good. By Master Choa Kok Sui as well. And it's very special. But yes, so Kundalini is seen as the female aspect of God, and the male aspect of God is what we see as God. But together it creates all things, all dimensions, right? It's everything is made by that. And so because it is needed for matter. And I'm looking here, there is a great something I want to share, if I find it. This is a great book if you guys will read it, but if you guys would like to read it, it's a great book. It's a quick read. Okay. Okay. I'll have it for you guys for next week, I guess. But I think it's really cool. In any case, let's continue. No, it's okay. There is, look, I'll just tell you. So Master Choa says, I don't remember if he says it here, but he says that there is So a black hole, right? He says a black hole is the epitome. One of the hypotheses, one of the things is a black hole is matter. It's the most concentrated form of matter. It's a black hole, right? And it's so dense that there's no light can even enter or escape it. So it's very, very dense. You understand? And it has a great pull. And so it's like pure condensed matter. So what happens, but when there is spiritual energy, right? When it comes down, it interpenetrates matter until it, and he does this, right? And until everything is mixed and loosens matter, and then you have all this myriad creation ensues. Instead of everything trying to come together and right into one thing, it expands. It's expansion. You see everything in nature is expanding, branching out. All trees branch out. The universe expands and contracts, right? It breathes. But at the same time, there's all these expansion, all this evolution, all this, myriads of worlds. So it is a special thing. So to continue, the Kundalini energy, right on page 161, the last paragraph, it says the Kundalini energy is called by many names: the serpent fire, fiery serpent, or the sacred fire. From this, it is possible to understand John the Baptist's statement in Matthew 3:11 from the Oxford Bible: I baptize you with water, but one who is more powerful than I is coming after me. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. The Holy Spirit symbolizes the divine energy that is coming down. We already said that, right? He already explained the downpour of spiritual energy, right, into Keter, into the Crown Chakra. It's also called the descent of the Holy Spirit. So the fire symbolizes the fiery serpent located near the base of the spine. It is through divine energy that the dormant yet powerful Kundalini energy is awakened. However, it is not a matter of whether it is awakened or not, but rather the degree of awakening. Okay, what do people call it serpent? No, because it's how it feels. So when you are meditating, right, and sometimes you feel, like Master Choa says, it's not about whether the Kundalini energy is awakened or not. It's the degree of awakening, right? And just because you feel it doesn't mean that it's more awakened than not. I mean, your brain is the one that is able to feel it or not. But your brain needs to be upgraded to be able to feel subtle energy. Sometimes you just don't feel it. That doesn't mean that it's not being awakened to a high degree. But sometimes you do feel, you're able to feel something like this going up your spine. So it goes like zigzag like this, right? And sometimes it's just like it just goes up, like a stream goes up, right? So it's like a serpent. But sometimes it goes like this, like really fast, and very hot. So it feels like fire. You understand? Very hot. It's not like you're burning, screaming. No, but it's very hot, and you feel something like this. So it feels like a serpent. That's why the dragons, like the serpent dragons in the Chinese tradition, the serpent in other traditions, right? Like in the Egyptian tradition and all that, in the even the Babylonian tradition and other traditions like that, is a symbol of wisdom. Why wisdom? Because it's a symbol of enlightenment, really, because of the awakening of the Kundalini energy. So because it goes through a channel, right, through a nadi or an energy channel, like this, by the spine, you feel that it just feels that way. That's why they keep giving it this reference across the globe, different traditions. So, the thing is that in the Christian tradition, that because of how the Genesis is interpreted or is written down in the Old Testament, right, or in the Torah, that the serpent is cursed and it gets a bad name. You understand? And so it is akin to something evil, but in reality, but the symbol in itself, in other traditions, when it's trying to talk about this, it's a different story, right? It's trying to talk of a different serpent, not that. I mean, okay, so there, I remember, I'm gonna be, I'm ignorant about many things, right, and even this, but whatever little thing that I know, I may share, right? But in this case, there was a precedent, right? I remember who it was that kept going like this, to everybody, and I remember who it was. And when he went to Australia, right, he was going like this to everybody, and everybody was like, yeah, yeah. They were like going crazy because over there, instead of giving you the finger, they go like this to you. Right? They go like that, and then they were all having so much fun going like this to this guy, and it's true, this happened. But so no names, right? But it goes to show you that symbols mean different things in different places. To most of us, this is like, okay, this is great, let's do it, right? Yay, like in the Romans, right? Live, not die. We're gonna live, and it's okay. Everything is good. Let's go. But in other places, is up yours. Yes. So we, and that's not. This is true. This is what it is. So, but it's a completely different connotation, right? So it is. So in that respect, we should be careful when we judge others and different traditions with the symbols of our tradition. Or let's say, so if you're going to use the symbolism, right, for let's say the Semitic symbolism, let's say whether it's a Jewish, Christian, or Islamic, and it talks about the serpent and the serpent is evil and all this stuff. Just as an example, and they talk also about dragons being evil and all that stuff. So when you go to the Chinese tradition, when you go into the Egyptian tradition, all the other traditions, it is when you see a serpent and you have this as a symbol of evil, or a dragon as a symbol of evil, and you put that symbolism on top of this other tradition, then it is difficult. It'll be very difficult for one to understand the beauty and everything that tradition stands for, because you're already judging it from the time that you're coming in. Just because you are, any symbolism that they have, you don't even want to see or learn about it. But the meaning of that symbol is completely different. Just like this. So for us to judge something before we even have a chance, before we even give it a chance, it's not something very wise to do, in my opinion. So we should not impose, like symbolism can change. Because what is a symbol? A symbol, like Joseph Campbell used to say, I like this definition, and he got it from someone else, right? But a symbol is basically, I think it was Amr Simmer that said this, that a symbol is something that has a leg in the physical world and another leg in transcendence, right? So it's something that is pointing to something else, and you have a lot of information from that symbol, right? So a small symbol can give you a lot of information. We spoke about that during, we spoke about the Scala and all that stuff. The Scala is a symbol for Filipino martial art, right? But it has a lot of information. The whole martial art is in that little symbol that looks like an asterisk inside a box. So the entire martial art is there. Disarms, footwork, strikes, defense, all that stuff is there. The entire thing is in a little symbol. And so all symbols are simple, and all symbols have different meanings for different traditions or how you see it. Just like we were talking about male and female before, yin and yang. So it's the same. So before we go out and judge all these different traditions, I think it's very important to just go in with an open mind. Thank you. So the degree of awakening. Then the Master Choa says, the awakening of the fiery serpent is necessary for the emotional, mental, and spiritual development of human beings. It is necessary for the evolution of the human soul and also of the human body. As stated earlier in this book, the evolution of the soul must be accompanied by the evolution of the physical body. The quality of the brain and the nervous system depends on the awakening of the Kundalini energy and its ascent to the head area. This technology is revealed in Arhatic Yoga. Arhatic Yoga is the spiritual arm of pranic healing. Master Choa Kok Sui is the modern founder of pranic healing. It's an energy system of energy healing, right? And it has a spiritual wing that is called Arhatic Yoga. So this technology is revealed in Arhatic Yoga. Without the awakening of the Kundalini energy, spiritual development is not possible. It is not possible. Whether the spiritual practitioner is aware of the existence of the Kundalini energy or not is not relevant. When a person goes into the spiritual path, the Kundalini energy gets partially awakened. Is that clear? This is true, and this is why I'm talking about symbolism. Whether you like it or not, right, the fiery serpent is there. Now, you may not want to call it a fiery serpent. That's okay. Call it the sacred fire. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to call it, you call it. But it's there. Blessing by water and blessing by baptism by water and baptism by fire. So, I'm going to talk about this and we're going to call it, right? I think we'll call it a night. I'll talk about this small paragraph. Then is spiritualized materialism, which will be the next section. And we cover it next week. And then it talks about magnification of negative qualities. For thine is the kingdom, and other things. Sleeping Beauty and the Fiery Serpent, the 10th Commandment, and the Divine Name of Malkuth. We'll try to cover all this next week, although we may need 2 more days for that, but 2 more meetings for that. But I wanted to, this is very important. We can be here all day talking about Kundalini because they're so vast. There's so much in Kundalini, that we don't even know, that is very profound topic. Kundalini energy is not just, and I love that Master Choa really talks about this, that it's not just for spiritual, it's not just for the spiritual development, it's not just inside you, it's everywhere. And it is not only to create all matter, but also to upgrade all the matter. Do you really believe that this physical world is the same as the world was many eons ago? It's not. Kundalini energy is used to also upgrade. It's used to what? Upgrade matter. And I'll just say upgrade matter for what? So that it can be, let's just say, so that it can use energy better. For better energy conductivity and sensibility. And this is, and I'm just saying this as above so below, right? Because in our physical bodies, the Kundalini energy is used to upgrade our bodies. Now, if you go to the doctor, you'll still have a heart, 2 lungs, all this stuff. It looks the same. But from an energy perspective, your body can withstand more spiritual energy, more spiritual power, or more energy in general. Once the degree of high degree of Kundalini is awakened regularly, right, and you have more and more let's just say the awakening of Kundalini happens more often and at a higher degree every time. You have also, in a safe way, key phrase, right, in a safe way, your whole system, your whole physical body and other bodies will be upgraded. Especially your brain will be upgraded, and this will make you more sensitive, not you, but it will make your physical body more sensitive to subtle energies. And your brain to be able to register and remember these energies, or these be able to register these energies. You understand? And also your body will be able to withstand a higher degree of spiritual energy and energy as well, or prana, right? So that's why at the beginning it says the awakening of the fiery serpent is necessary for the emotional, mental, and spiritual development of human beings. So it doesn't say only spirituality. It talks about the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And before we spoke about also that is responsible for what? For the physical manifestation. And that's why it upgrades the physical body. It upgrades the emotional and mental bodies. It's like a computer, right? So you have a computer and you have software that might be very new. If your computer is old, it might not be able to run the new software. But if you upgrade your computer with more memory, right, better processor, maybe another, all this stuff you upgraded, and you put the new, you can then put the new system there, the new operating system, the new a newer operating system, better, right, more powerful, faster, and then all the new programs that require more power, more memory, more this, more that. So you have an upgraded computer. The same thing happens to us. So if you have a better physical, a better system, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, right? You have a better system, which is upgraded by the Kundalini energy. You can have, there's a greater downpour of spiritual energy. You can withstand more energy. For what? So you can do more. So you can be of better service, and at the same time, so you can grow spiritually. But it is necessary for the evolution of the human soul and also of the human body, what we were talking about, the physical body. But it says it's necessary for the evolution of the human soul. Why the human soul? Because of humanity, right? Our soul needs Kundalini energy to evolve. Why? Because he's talking about the human experience, right? So we as souls are here to learn in this human experience. So from our human experience, we need this to evolve. Because our physical bodies, emotional bodies, mental bodies, etc., spiritual bodies, right? We are all here, but all of these need to be upgraded, right? And we need Kundalini energy for this to happen. Without it, we're stagnant. It also says the quality of the brain. Remember the brain and the nervous system? We spoke about the brain. All of this being upgraded is important. Depends on the awakening of the Kundalini energy and its ascent to the head area. So for Kundalini not to stop its ascent. We're talking about ascent to the head area. That means that Kundalini doesn't have to go all the way up there. But that's the point. That's the key. He also says, you want to learn how to do this? You can also check out Arhatic Yoga. You can take the course. I'll do the promotional thing. I don't get paid for this though, right? So, but I'll do the promotion. But because because I've experienced that, it's pretty good. You can also do it in many other ways, right? You can do Kundalini Yoga. You can do whatever. There are countless systems for awakening the Kundalini, for having greater spiritual development, right? Great spiritual development. I personally like Arhatic Yoga. It's amazing, I think. Prana Healing and Arhatic Yoga, they changed my life. I think they're amazing. I've tried many things. This is just for me. For other people, it might be other things, and that's okay. But whatever works for you, I guess, is what I would say. But just like you see that Master Choa writes and gives everything, very complex concepts, he gives them to you in a very simple way, easy to understand way. It's the same with everything that he teaches, at least in pranic healing for energy system is very successful. Energy healing system as well for Arhatic Yoga is also the same. It's very simple, very to the point and easy to understand and very powerful, not to be underestimated. Like Master Choa used to say, do not underestimate the simplicity of the teaching, right? So, so that's why he says this technology is revealed in Arhatic Yoga. So without the awakening of the Kundalini energy, spiritual development is not possible. This is the truth and the case for what we just said. Now, he then says, whether the spiritual practitioner is aware of the existence of the Kundalini energy or not is not relevant, right? And when a person goes into the spiritual path, the Kundalini energy gets partially awakened. So what does he say, partially awakened? I'm gonna end there. And it's because you have to understand what he means about spiritual development. not being possible without the Kundalini energy. Let's say someone goes into the spiritual path, it doesn't do any of the practices for awakening the Kundalini or what have you. Does that mean that that person is not going to grow spiritually? Not necessarily, because being in the spiritual energy, there are many things that awaken the Kundalini, right? Partially at least, or to a certain degree. And there are, and the Kundalini becomes awakened. Why? Because when the heart is activated, the Crown Chakra is activated, downpour spiritual energy, awakens the Kundalini, goes up, whether you feel it or not, like whether you are aware of it or not. There is always, right? This is a natural process. Now, to what degree? That's what he said, to what degree? Can we be a spiritual person through our life? Yes. But we generally speak from the point of where we're at. Master Choa Kok Sui, having met him, I can tell you that, in my opinion, he was at a very high level. At least, I'm telling you from my point of view, right? So at least for me, at my level, he was at a very high level. For the people at a very high level, they may not see him at a very high level, right? But from my point of view, right, and in my opinion, there's not that many people that may be at a level like that may see him not at a high level, but it's a very high level. So when he talks about spiritual development, he's not talking about your regular spiritual person, or person that you may say, oh, I know this Joe. Joe is very spiritual. You know, he told these books, and yes, that's very nice, but it's different. When he talks about a high spiritual level, he talks about mastering the virtues. When he's talking about spiritual development, he means spiritual development. He doesn't mean weekend warrior spiritual development. He doesn't mean like skate through life spiritual development. He doesn't mean I'm going to Bali yoga, whatever, class. He talks about serious practice, serious development. That can be done in many various different forms and in different schools and different traditions, but at the end of the day, it has to do with the individual. You can be given all the instruction that you want, but you are the one that has to do it. And at the end of the day, serious spiritual development is a different story. So what he means by spiritual development is not possible without the awakening of the Kundalini. It's because he's talking about spiritual development, like for real, like true high standard spiritual development. Not that you're going to become more spiritual, not that you're going to become, more connected, more, you see things, you have epiphanies and understandings and this and that. Yes, you're going to have that, and the raising of the Kundalini is there, and that's going to affect it. You can have a very, a gradual growth spiritual development. But he's not talking about this. He's talking about this. You understand? And that is a different story. So that requires hard work, discipline, and constancy of aim and effort. And also safety, guidance, and help. Don't go crazy. But that's why it's constant. But in that way, yes, you're going to need help. You're going to need, the awakening of Kundalini. It's important. It's just not going to happen without it. again, at the end of the day, it's a natural thing. But when you do if you have a spiritual practice and you do the practices seriously and with discipline and regularity, then you can have, accelerated spiritual development, good spiritual development. So whether the person is aware at the moment or not, that's irrelevant, because it will happen, and it happens. Eventually, when the brain is sufficiently and the nervous system are sufficiently upgraded and the bodies are sufficiently upgraded, the person will notice changes and whatnot. So, good. Any questions before we close? So, okay. If you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you would like to see more videos, and come join us next week. Thank you. Let's close, right? Shall we? Any questions? We're good? Everyone good? You guys are going to ask me after we leave the channel. I understand. Cool. All right. So they do that all the time. All right. So let's close. To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, to my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the saints, to the Divine Lord Christ, and to the hierarchy of the divine holy angels and archangels, and to all the great ones, we humbly thank you for your divine and priceless blessings, for your divine presence in this session, for your priceless love, help, protection, guidance, and illumination, for the priceless blessings, the healing, the understanding, the priceless teachings, the priceless knowledge and wisdom. Thank you for the priceless blessings, priceless love. So be it, and so it is. Thank you. Many blessings be to all. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for coming. Ama Namaste. Thank you. Ama Namaste, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Ama Namaste. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you next week. Blessings.